my backyard in Maui. I live in Kihei, Hawaii, on the island of Maui. And first of all, I just want to say mahalo nui, thank you very much to I Hart Flying, the donors, and Aviation Life Clothing, and everyone else who have contributed, the other finalists and applicants for this scholarship. Thank you so much for this opportunity to get to speak with you guys and tell you a little bit about my story, my experience, and the goals that I have in aviation. Aviation and flying, I feel like in the last few years, when I started flying at the age of 42, it has become a calling of mine, and not just learning how to fly, but also becoming a flight instructor. And I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to have aviation in my life and for flying, and to be on this path to become a certified flight instructor. It's something that not very many people get to do, especially not very many women, and not very many women my age, you know, in their mid-40s, making this career change and finding something finally that I'm so passionate about, that's so magical and so inspiring. And I just am so thrilled and stoked to be able to share that with other people. I'm a really hard worker. It's my personality. When I have a goal set before me, I really do what I can and push hard to meet those goals. And I like to inspire others to do the same. I just want you to know that, you know, for me and my personality, I'm setting forth, I'm trying to lay the groundwork and the foundation to get this done. I've got my private pilot. I just passed my instrument rating 2 weeks ago. I'm so excited to have that done. It was just an amazing experience, and now I am currently studying for the commercial written test and hoping to get my certified flight instructor certificate within the coming months. It's so very humbling to know that other aviators have the same passion and they want to invest in my training. But I want you to know it's not only an investment in my training, it's an investment in other future pilots, to other young women and women my age and young people who are wanting to get into this amazing industry with all of these opportunities. You know, I want to not just tell them about the magic of flight and how beautiful it is and how challenging it is. I don't only want to motivate them, I want to train them. And as a CFI, I want to train them to become safe aviators, to make really good, safe decisions, whether they're going out and flying for a hobby or as their career. And as a CFI, I want to motivate my students not only to be safe aviators and to make safe decisions, but to have fun with it. I mean, it's all about the joy of flying, and also to go on to spread that joy to other people. And I want to motivate them to give back and invest in our aviation community, because it's such a special community to be a part of. There are three things that I'm so excited to tell you about. The first one is the legacy of aviation in my family. My grandparents, my dad's parents, were both pilots. My grandmother went on to continue flying. She started learning to fly at the age of 42, the exact age when I started my flight lessons, and she went on to become a flight instructor, a multi-engine instructor, a commercial pilot. She did a lot of charter flights around the southeastern United States, and she was flying during a time where there weren't many women pilots, especially in the state of Arkansas, and she was really a trailblazing aviator back in Arkansas. And so much so, she was the first woman commissioner on the Arkansas Aeronautics Commission, and later on, around 2006, she was inducted into the Aviation Hall of Fame. She is the reason I fly. She is my inspiration. I feel like she's with me all the time. My golden retriever Luke wants to be by my side. And anyway, so that's a really cool legacy to have, and I don't fly without thinking about her. Also, community involvement. I personally involved with the 99s. We just started a new chapter on Maui in June this summer, and we're so excited about that. I was elected as the vice chair for our new chapter, we found out we have between 25 and 30 student pilots and pilots living on our little island. So we're really excited about some of the projects that we have coming up this next year. And one thing I love to do is work on STEM projects, specifically here on Maui with the Girl Scouts. We have a really good partnership and network with them, so it's really fun to go out and talk about Bernoulli's principle and let them do paper airplanes and have paper airplane spot landing contests. And it's fun to start an event like that and you ask them at the beginning, you know, do you have inspirations or aspirations to become a pilot? And most of them don't raise their hands. By the time we're done, a couple of hours later, almost every hand goes up. Also, the last thing I wanted to tell you about is my husband John and I have an aviation podcast. Back when we moved to Maui 2.5 years ago, we used all of our finances, all of our savings, some of our retirement to get a new business off the ground here on Maui. So we were not able to fly for about 18 months after moving here, and oh my goodness, it was so hard. So we tried to think of a way that we could still be involved with aviation personally, even though we weren't sitting in the left seat. So we started an aviation podcast. It's called the Fly Maui Podcast, and one reason why we started it is to leave an audio journal for our kids and our future grandkids so they could hear our stories about flying and about our flight training back when we were getting our private pilot certificates. And also, we just want to encourage other pilots. We want to motivate young people to get into aviation and to learn how to fly, and encourage pilots who may have been flying for 30, 40 years with different stories and inspiring interviews. To promote general aviation, I mean, it's just, you know, sometimes it's an uphill battle keeping general aviation on the forefront. That's why we do the Fly Maui podcast, and we have a lot of fun doing it and talking about flying together. One goal and challenge I've had that's really fresh on my mind, I mentioned earlier about the instrument rating. Just had my check ride on September the 30th and passed, thank goodness. A big challenge, it was the finances getting into it. Flight training in Hawaii is really expensive, and my husband and I were both doing paired learning. On one hand, it was pretty expensive because we have 2 pilots in the family doing flight training, but at the same time, we thought it was the best way for us to really focus in, and we got our written test out of the way, and we did the paired learning where we could sit in the back seat as the other one was flying and really take in the lesson almost twice. It was like a 2-for-1 special. Even though we couldn't put it in the logbook, I think it really helped economically on our flight training, and then mentally really get a grasp for the instrument rating. Most people on Maui work multiple jobs as we do, just to make ends meet and really try to make the dream come true of living in such a beautiful place.
North Shore traffic, Cessna 738 Foxtrot Alpha, offshore KNI 1,000 feet, westbound, Maui North Shore traffic.
Also, training while we're working, and a lot of people are in that same boat. It's hard, it's difficult doing your private pilot training or your instrument rating training while you're working full-time jobs or multiple jobs. So you just have to really have the discipline, and that's what I did, was set aside time every day. You know, 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock every day was my time for either doing my ground school or my studying or doing flight training. Sometimes we'd get up early in the morning, 5, 6 o'clock a.m., work on our cross countries and our simulated instrument flying to get that done, and then go on to work. You just have to be disciplined and diligent about that, and that's one thing that I did to try to meet that goal. Also, one of the challenges I've faced since moving here and flying here is flying over water. I had a near drowning experience when I was 22 and pregnant with our oldest son, and it's something that just really made a huge impact on my life, and I just have to work through that mentally. I actually did a solo flight yesterday where I was over a lot of water for quite a while by myself, and it's a mindset, and just really put your mind to it. And I have to trust in my training, trust in my aircraft, and you know, the airplane doesn't know it's over water, so it's just something I have to work on in my mind. So that's one way that I've kind of pushed through that struggle and that challenge to meet that goal of the instrument rating and continuing on to the commercial rating. You know, there's going to be roadblocks that arise that keep you from becoming the person that you're meant to be. I know without a doubt I'm meant to be a flight instructor, and so these roadblocks, finances, work schedules, and even fear, they come up. But every time those fears and those struggles come up, I know it's validation that I'm on the right track, and it's a sign that I need to just keep pushing forward, working hard, and meeting that goal. Now that I've just recently completed the instrument rating, moving on to the commercial certificate. So right now I'm studying to take the commercial written exam, the knowledge test here pretty soon, with the goal of taking that and passing that in the month of October. As soon as that's passed, I'm going to move right into the flight training for the commercial certificate. I've got a few more hours to build, about 30 hours. And looking forward to doing that. I'm getting out in the plane every day over the next several weeks and getting those hours knocked out. My goal for the commercial certificate is to get that complete before the end of this year. One way that I'm supporting myself financially and working through the flight training is through really strict budgeting. We don't go out to eat very much, and those times that I'm really tempted to go to Starbucks and get a coffee, I just think, well, that's $5 that I could put towards my flight training and my plane rental, and that's way more exciting than a latte, so we do that. And also I do lay greetings at the Kahului airport, and I make lay and I greet our customers as they get off the plane from those long flights and help assist them to get their rental cars and their baggage. So that's a fun way to make a little bit of money on the side for flight training. You get to meet some amazing people. Also, I like to apply and research for all kinds of aviation scholarships. I just keep plugging away at those goals, but when those scholarships can become available, I'm able to reach those goals even quicker, and it's just such a blessing when that happens. And even we have the support of family. My parents like to surprise me with what they call gas money every once in a while, and so that's always a nice surprise. So I just want to say thank you so much again to I Hart Flying, the donors, Aviation Life Clothing, again, for this opportunity to let you get to know this beautiful place where I get to fly and do flight training, and pretty soon get to teach some awesome, amazing local students. And I just want to say aloha.